Clippers and Rockets have already played each other once this season, and it was, well, eventful. James Harden dropped 47 points. Russell Westbrook insulted Patrick Beverley by saying he tricks everyone into thinking he plays defense. And in my favorite part of the evening, Doc Rivers got upset with the officials and then watched his son Austin beg the refs to tee him up and toss him, which they did. I would say that's going to be hard to top when the two teams meet again at Staples Center tonight, except this time we're throwing Paul George into the mix, setting up what could be an absolutely fascinating case of that age-old physics problem, the irresistible force meeting the immovable object. I mean, we all know how ridiculous James Harden has been over the past few seasons, and yet somehow this season, he is even more ridiculous. That absolutely lethal three-point step back, he has made nearly double as many so far this season as anyone else in the league. He was averaging 42 a night during the Rockets' 8-game winning streak, and even now, Harden is still getting to the line even more than he did last season, which, is dangerous for a guy who makes 87% of his free throws. Nuggets coach Mike Malone said that watching game film of Harden is, quote, like watching a horror movie. And if the Clippers need any reminder of that, they can just microwave up some popcorn, throw in tape of that aforementioned game against the Rockets from last month, where in the final 6 minutes alone, Harden scored 17 to win the game. Then again, maybe that tape won't tell them much, since at that point, Paul George had yet to return from shoulder surgery. And also that night, Kawhi Leonard re-injured his knee, which would lead to him missing a 3-game stretch. Now, both men are back. And while they've only played once together so far, even in just those 53 minutes against the Celtics, we got the predictable result of what happens when you take a group of players that were already smart and super active defenders, and then add two guys whose names have littered the NBA all-defense team this past decade. Boston came into the other night with the fourth most efficient offense in the league, but came out of it being held to 39% shooting, just 27% from three, and that was before the Clippers had a single practice altogether. LA can switch everything. They will take your pick and rolls and set fire to them. They have guys whose go-go gadget inspector arms will disrupt your passing lanes and bait you into turnovers. Are they going to be able to do all of that to Harden tonight? Will they double him early in possessions like Denver did? And if they do, can Russell Westbrook and Clint Capella make them pay? Will Pat Bev go after Russ for those "he's tricking you" comments, which Russ seemed to double down on just yesterday after practice? And maybe most importantly, will Austin Rivers get himself re-invited to the family Thanksgiving dinner by being nice to his dad tonight?
No turkey for you.
It should be quite the night where we get to see some basic questions of physics answered, or at least a really good basketball
Gotta get the
game.
Scraps, Austin.
Yeah,
Scraps.
exactly.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't get to go to the stuffing table first. T-Mac, James Harden had 27 points against the Nuggets on Wednesday, which for him is just a chilly cool-down performance. But he did give the Clippers 47, right? So do you think the Clippers can hold Harden to under 30 the way Denver did?
Well, first, let me say this. I've never been more excited than watching two teams play. I mean, I think the Clippers are replacing Golden State in terms of watching Houston.
Right, go at it.
Right. I want this to be a playoff series. Like, I really want this so bad to happen. To answer your question, I think James is going to get his numbers tonight, but I think it'll be a low percentage shooting. I mean, you can't really stop this guy from getting his 40 points because he shoots a barrage of threes. He knows how to get to the free throw line. He's going to get his shots up. So if they could do a good job of, holding him to like 35, 38% shooting from the floor, they've done their job. But I still suspect that he will get 30 plus. I mean, and you look at the defenders that's going to be guarding him, these are elite defenders. So I don't see much of a double team tonight. I think they're going to take pride in trying to guard him one-on-one.
Yeah, I agree. The Clippers aren't going to – I would be shocked if they did that, first matchup with both of their stars playing. See how they do. See how they handle it. See if Pat Bev will get some shots at him. Harkless will get some shots at him. I agree. He's getting 30. It might be on 9 of 26 shooting with a bunch of free throws because, again, he's facing the guys we just named. But it's just he just shoots so much and gets to the line so much, it's hard to hold him under 30.
I mean, look, you've also got the duo factor of Russell Westbrook chiming in there. Do you think if you just look at all season, not just tonight, the Westbrook and Harden duo is more effective or the Kawhi and PG duo? Because, look, the Westbrook-Harden duo is two former MVPs, right? where do you see Kawhi and Paul George? Neither one of them has won a Most Valuable Player award, but I think right now a lot of people would see them as being in the forefront. Where are you on that?
Yeah, yesterday, today, tomorrow, the full season, I'm taking Kawhi and PG. I just the two elite defenders, both of them can shoot threes. They complement each other. It's a natural, easy fit. Whereas Russ's jumper, we're on kind of year 3 of it being broken. And, that hasn't been a big issue for Houston so far because Harden's been amazing and Russ has them running and running and running. Mm-hmm. Their defense, I think, is number 2 in the league over the last 10 games. So it hasn't really hurt them. But, at the very April, May, June, when the competition's the highest, I'll take Kawhi and PG.
Yeah, when you're talking about the better duo, I mean, when we talk about James and Russ, it's primarily all of offense, right? And it's two sides of the ball.
I mean, they've both, I will say, they have both buckled down on defense after that really weak start.
Well, what's their greatest strength, right?
Yeah,
it's offense.
Absolutely.
So both of these guys' greatest strengths are offense and defense. They both can give you 25, and they're elite defenders. So I always go with the guys that are elite on both sides of the ball.
Has Russ done what you expected him to do in this offense so far? Do you think that there's still growth for him?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's done pretty well. I think they're +9 per 100 possessions with Harden and Russ on the floor together, which is really good. He hasn't shot. I expected him to shoot a little bit better on catch and shoot threes because he's so open now, and he hasn't. So I think he's going to have to shoot some baseline percentage for them to really make the finals and do the stuff that they want to do. But I think he's pushing the pace, getting James some rest. I mean, James is resting on the court a lot, which they need him to do, and so I think it's working all right.
Yeah, Russ, about 3 years ago, I mean, his jumper, his mid-range was probably one of the best in the league, and that hasn't been the case over the last couple of years. I don't know what's happened, maybe, being injured, having surgeries, and mentally kind of messing with his psyche a little bit. Because I remember, he was a phenomenal mid-range shooter.
Called it his cotton shot.
Right.
That's what
If he could get back to that point where he's coming downhill full speed and stopping on the dime and making that shot at a high rate, they could be unstoppable.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.